McLeod goes on to say this: research confirms that how we view others, either positively or negatively, significantly affects goal-oriented behavior. For example, if we view someone positively, then we have a much greater tendency to pursue the goals that they are pursuing. So, as a leader, it really pays to make sure you establish a positive emotional connection to your people so that they are viewing you in a positive light. It's not enough to avoid toxic and negative connections. It's critical that you invest in building positive ones. So, with that being said, as a leader, how can you work to create a positive emotional climate? How can you be proactive in building something anti-toxic, something really, really beneficial to be a part of?
Yeah, it's amazing too. Again, kind of going back to, I always tell people, whenever you see principles that you read from book to book to book to book, you really need to lean in on those rather than looking at that and saying, man, I've read this. Okay, tell me something I don't know. You ought to say just the opposite. Like, okay, I'm reading this again in a book, and this is a bold, yeah, this is a big principle. And this is one of those things where the concept of empathy, caring about people, Henry Cloud talks about this in Boundaries for You, the importance of human connection and loving and caring for people. Chris Voss talks about, you wouldn't think it, but when you're negotiating with a terrorist, you don't try to use logic. you have to relate to them on an emotional level. He uses the term empathy. You have to give them the sense that you genuinely care about them as a human. I mean, a lot of the times people move in very unhealthy directions. Now, terrorism would be an extreme, but a lot of that has to do with years and years and years and years of being marginalized. Think about some of these school shootings. A lot of the times these kids have been completely marginalized, ostracized, treated as if they don't matter. And over time, you become increasingly frustrated. Mark Golston talks about this in his Just Listen, like somebody's just like tramping on your emotional air hose and you can't breathe. So much of that's happening in so many sectors of society because we're so consumed with ourselves that we can't see others. And so I think, how can we create that positive environment as leaders? Again, here's where I think the brain science comes into play, is like honor the chemicals. two of the chemicals that get released in the brain that help people feel like they matter, like they're loved, like people care about them, are serotonin is one, oxytocin is another. Well, why is it that we're designed to release chemicals to make us feel happiness when certain things happen, like when someone shows us respect or treats us with dignity, or just simply sees us? They ask me a question, they choose to take time to connect with me on a personal level before they just jump to the business and the bottom line. Why is it that those chemicals are released? Because that's how we're created. For me, this is what kind of goes back to being a person of faith. We're created in the image of God. As his image bearers, we're created for relationship, first and foremost with him, but then secondly with other of his image bearers, other people. So we're created for love, we're created for human connection, we're created for relationship. And when we experience that, it makes us feel happy. How crazy is that? It's just such a fundamentally human thing. We don't need more business techniques. We need just a heart for people. We need to care about people. One of the things that John Maxwell writes about, the law of connection: leaders touch a heart before they ask for a hand. I care about people. One of my favorite quotes comes from Mary Kay Ash, who was the founder of Mary Kay Cosmetics. She said, "Everyone has an invisible sign hanging around their neck that says, 'Make me feel important.'" So
I love that.
sometimes the most savvy business strategy is simply developing a simple set of back pocket questions that you can use to care about and connect with people on a human level before you jump into the business.
Hey, thanks again for watching today's video. And before you go, subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure you go to BillCoxCoaching.com, sign up for our regular newsletter to help you move from success to significance and lead your life in such a way that you live a legacy. Have a great day.